AITAH for convincing my boyfriend not to share his inheritance. I've been with my boyfriend Jack for a little over 2 years now. He's the sweetest, most considerate guy I've ever met, and we're really happy. Jack is the middle child in a family of 3 kids. Their mom passed away when he was young. Their dad was focused on his career and had little time for them, so they grew up with various nannies and maids. Dad didn't really put an effort to building a relationship with any of his kids as children or adults. Jack's brother and sister had pretty much zero contact with the dad, but Jack, being the sweet guy he is, always made an effort to keep up. I've met his dad twice, and let's just say he's a difficult man to get along with. But Jack put up with him anyway, sometimes missing out on things he needed to do just because his dad wanted something. Now his dad passed away recently and left everything to Jack. I think he left some things to the other kids, but like 99% of it goes to Jack. And turns out his father was a lot richer than everyone believed. I'm talking Jack not having to work for the rest of his life and have enough to send 3 kids to college rich. His brother and sister found out and wanted everything divided equally. Jack, being the sweet, considerate guy he is, actually agreed. We talked about it later and I was like, "Are you out of your mind? Your dad left this to you, not you siblings." He knew what he was doing. It's not like his brother and sister are poor or desperate for money anyway. The inheritance was his. I admit Jack can be a bit of a pushover and his siblings know this. So I convinced him not to just divide everything up equally, but maybe consider giving them something more than what their dada has left. When Jack went back to them with the information and said he's discussed this with me, of course they're blaming it on me now. They're calling me a gold digger and that I'm after their money. We're not even engaged. I won't get any of this money. It's all Jack's. So am I the eye-hole for convincing Jack not to split his entire inheritance with his siblings? Someone said, Jake sounds like more than a pushover to me. He sounds like a loving human who genuinely cares about family. I think he will regret a family divide because you persuaded him a different way, though I do not disagree with you. A good solution could be a small trust fund set up for each of his niece's nephews for college or a home. He could help family, but not the family that ignored his father, while also not scratching his inheritance. You would not end up being resented by not only the siblings, but eventually this sweet guy. Because no, if he does nothing, and it is on your say-so according to you, he will regret it. Because he is a wonderful man, of course watch for him being taken advantage of. But please don't stop him from being a wonderful human being. We need them. No judgment yet. Update Me Op replied, "This is true. He is the sweetest man, but I've seen people take advantage of him over and over again, and didn't want it to happen this time." Update 2 days later. First of all, thank you to everyone who took the time to reply. I feel like the opinion was split halfway on whether I was the AH or not, so I thought I'd post an update with more clarifications. Some of you pointed out that while saying I wanted to stop Jack from being a pushover, I did the exact thing to him myself. To them, I can see where you're coming from. This was never my intention. Jack asked for my opinion and I gave it to him. I agree I could have approached it better. Also, the one thing where I may have been a bit of an AH was not asking Jack why he wanted to split the inheritance. I just assumed people were trying to take advantage of him as usual and went from there. We had another discussion and I made sure to ask him this. His reasoning was that he felt his father was unfair and he wanted to do what he felt was right. He said he had no delusions that this would magically fix things between him and his siblings and they would become one big happy family. That being said, Jack had a discussion with his lawyer and his father's lawyer, who was also his father's friend. There is very little to no chance for the siblings to contest the will. The father knew what he was doing, and as his lawyer explained, he had his reasons. Turns out the father did realize he was a bad parent and tried to rectify things by reaching out to his kids when they were all adults. The other 2 never bothered to respond, despite multiple attempts. Jack, being the sweet guy he is, never thought twice about it, and reconciled the first time. He says he understands their dad didn't do the best job, but it was all in the past and he was willing to get over it. He pointed out that his father did pay for all of their reduction, and is part of the reason why they have such comfortable lives now. Now the part about the inheritance. Jack still wants to split it with his siblings, but not completely evenly. His father's lawyer made it clear that it was the man's last wish that the majority should go to Jack, so Jack is going to honor that, just not be so extreme about it. Jack will be keeping around 60% of everything and splitting the other 40% evenly between his siblings. Turns out they don't know exact numbers, so 20% would still be big enough to have them satisfied. His father's lawyer says he's going to make it very clear to the siblings that this was all Jack's money, that he's giving to them out of the goodness of his heart, and they are in no way entitled to it. My only comment to Jack at this point was to make sure that this was entirely his decision, and he didn't feel pressured or persuaded in any way to do it, and that he's not doing it seeking validation from his siblings. He said he's sure, and I told him I support his decision completely. TBH, I'm very proud of him to coming to a solution that allowed him to stay true to himself while not being a pushover. People in the comments said, "Good ending. I'm glad he decided what he wanted to do and you support him." You made sure to ask him why and really listen to him. I wish you both the best. Another said, as my mom got older, I took care of her. When she died, she split her investment money 3 ways with my brothers, but I got sole possession of our family home. My brothers didn't like it. I caved and split the house 3 ways. Both of them pissed their inheritance away. My money is still growing in the bank. I am the middle child, and I was a fool. Another said, look, here's the thing. The dad was a jerk, and Jack doesn't want to be like his dad. If he keeps everything, he won't have a relationship with his siblings, ever. So Jack has to decide what is more important, the money or the chance he will have a future relationship with the siblings. Legally, he doesn't have to split it, I know. And some people would take that and run, but Jack wants everyone to be happy, not equal but happy enough. Another said, once again an example of how ugly some people can be when money is involved. Man was a shit father and then left the one child who bothered to keep in contact with him a whole mess to deal with after he's gone regarding money. Even in death, he's spiteful to his other children for not forgiving him. I do not understand the comments getting mad at Jack, who understood that money shouldn't get in the way of the relationship he has with his siblings. The man has his own thoughts and wishes, and despite being pushover, found a middle ground for everyone. Some people are so selfish, the idea of relenting even a single hair might as well be you asking them for their firstborn.